Hi guys. In this tutorial we're going to demonstrate workflows between Illustrator and Photoshop. And this assignment goes along with your midterm assignment and adjusting images that you take photos of or scan and fitting them into your Illustrator files and match up with the lines perfectly. This will involve Photoshop and Illustrator. Photoshop is going to involve free transform as well as some cloning and fixing tools. So let's go ahead and get our line drawing from assignment 5 open. And we should be only seeing construction lines because that's all you guys printed, and then you filled in with sheet material, the boxes or the objects. So since I did not do that assignment, I just did some watercolor markings over these construction lines that I have in my Illustrator file. So first, let's go to our Illustrator file. And if you haven't already drawn out the boxes by showing them in darker lines as objects, do that. This will help you be able to select in Photoshop which markings you want to keep and which layers you want to keep. So, having those on, I'm going to turn off my construction lines, just like this. And now I'm going to go over to File, Export. And there's multiple different formats that you can export to, JPEG to PNG to PSD. For now I'm just going to use a PNG since it won't have a background and we can overlay it nicely in Illustrator. I'm just going to save that. Use artboards because that'll create the artboard that you have set up, and hit export. High at 300, hit OK. So now, if we get Illustrator open, let's open up that PNG that we just exported and just simply drag and drop into our Photoshop. And now we're going to take your markings and drag it in as well. Orient it correctly. And now we can start to kind of scale and see where everything lines up. See how my pink mark here lines up with my box at the corner. Now we can use free transform to bring it up to a proper size. Now your guys's will be a much higher resolution than what I have, and also within the lines. So we'll try to get this as close as we can, and we'll be able to fix that once we start getting into the photoshopping. Mine seems to be a little teeny bit off, but again, we'll fix that. We also can skew it over a little teeny bit. Try to get it as perfect as we can. Now this looks pretty good to me, so I'm going to hit enter. Now the beauty of using a PNG is we can go up to our magic wand tool on our background layer here and select out the pink areas, and go back to our image that we just dropped, and hitting Control J, we can create a new layer in which now we have the markings already filled out for us. Now these look pretty good. A couple little rough spots of some marker flowing over, but that's fine. So we'll turn that off, bring it back. Now let's go to this kind of peach layer I have here. Select that, and hitting Control J on our original marked layer, we create another layer. Let's turn that off. Let's try to get the blue box. Going over to our image layer again, Control J, layer done. And let's get the green. Hitting Control J, creates another layer. And the last one I'm going to do is the red. Again, hit Control J, creates a new layer. Now if we turn all those layers back on, we're left with our marks almost perfectly inset with our boxes. Now, notice that I have some run over through here. Typically what I like to do is select the layer, which that was our last layer, come up to this tool here, and we're able to bring down our brush size here. And holding Alt, we can sample an image, start to just kind of clean up stuff. And if we want a hard border, which we do, we'll select where it needs to be cleaned up, hitting our tool again on the same layer. We're able to just clean up some little teeny marks just to make it look a little teeny bit better. I see a little bit here in the blue, so what we'll do is come up to the blue now, select on our PNG layer, do the same thing. See some peach color in there? Let's clean it up a little bit. Same at the top, I see some pink rolling through. Just go through and keep hitting Alt if you hit a hard edge, and it'll clean up those edges again. It just resamples where you selected before. Now again, on the blue layer, we need to clean up through here, so I'm going to use the wand tool, select in our box here, hit Alt to sample. Got to be on our layer too. And just try to clean up every little edge. Again, here on our peach layer, our box again. Keep cleaning. Again, if you get a hard edge like that, that means you hit the edge of your sample, so you have to hold Alt and click. And clean up that edge some more. And let's do our layer here. Get that red out of there. There we go. Now your guys's will be much cleaner because you'll take more time than I have. So let's turn off our PNG layer. Let's see, make a new layer and create it. Change the color to white. And this is what we're left with. So what I'm going to do right now is just merge all these layers and try to do some color correction on here. Again, go up to Image, Auto Color, or adjust your brightness and contrast. That looks a little bit too much. Go up to Image. You guys will take your time on this. Bring up the brightness a little bit. There we go. This image was a little bit lower quality because it was taken from my iPhone. So we'll sharpen it up a little teeny bit more. Try to get some pretty decent detail in there. There we go. Perfect. Now we're left with these little incisor lines here where the lines of the boxes were, but that's fine. That'll help us in Illustrator line up the drawing again. So now what I typically do is turn off all my layers so there's no background, save it as a PSD for, let's call this Photoshop layer. Okay, go back to Illustrator. What we'll do is make a new layer. Simply just drag and drop, and it should line up to your drawing. Now, if you guys wanted to, say, create different layers for each one of these, what you would have to do is if we go back, and we're left with all our color layers once again, turn each one of them off. So if we wanted a pink layer, we'd go ahead and save as a PNG again, and save it out as pink. Hit OK. Do the same, and do a save as for the peach layer, save it out as peach. Hit OK. Save for the blue, save it out again. Let's do green, save it out once more, and for the red. So now if we go back over to Illustrator, in the file folder where we saved everything, we should have all our colors here in Photoshop files. And again, we're able to just drag and drop all at the same time. And they should end up on the same layer. So what we can do now is try to separate them out. 2, 3, 4, 5. So this would be our first layer. Let's lock it. Let's click again. This would be our third layer. Let's lock it. Delete that layer real quickly. Save that one. Okay, lock that. Bring this one up. Create one more layer. Just save that. There we go. So now we have all our colors separated out in Illustrator as layers. Now you can use that to your benefit, and this is a great way as a workflow to go between Illustrator and Photoshop.